morning, ladies and gentlemen. Sincere apologies for this 13-minute delay today morning. On a Monday morning, Mumbai can be difficult, but that's how life is. I got some fantastic responses last week when we started the business and life transformation series. We had our day one. We spoke about the formula for success. And if we could quickly rewind to that formula of success, it is all about dreams, goals, plans, actions, ladies and gentlemen. And I hope you have been able to put some thought to it. So we are on day two. Hopefully day one was an eye-opener and you've been able to get some big goals in place. You've also started imagining your dream journey. Don't ever think about whether it's going to happen or not going to happen. If you know it's going to happen, it's not a dream. Put in a destination and ask yourself, can I do it? If you don't know how to do it, this is the dream journey that I would want you to think about. Ultimately, it's the process that we will follow through. And over the next 29 episodes, 29 Mondays, ladies and gentlemen, it's a process. We will go from one subject to the other. We'll capture all the knowledge you need to build your dream life and business. So today is the time for the second formula. Very simple formula, but actually one of the most powerful things you will ever learn in life. And this formula, please take a piece of paper and a pen and write this formula. BE multiplied by DO is equal to have. B times do is equal to have. Very powerful formula. You can write it the other way around. Have is equal to B times do. Who you are as an individual will finally determine what you get in life. So let's start at that have segment. Let's start at the RHS, as we were told in our schools and colleges. Let's start with the have segment. Episode 1, if you remember, we had spoken about the dreams and the goals. I hope you have started documenting it. I hope you have that small notebook in your book, in your pocket or purse. You're thinking, you're aspiring, and you're wanting from life. What do you want? What are all the things that you want from life? How will you ensure that the life that you have led and the day you are transformed from Moloy, the individual, to Moloy, the body, how will we ensure that all that we have wanted from life, we have achieved? It could be the altruistic, it could be the monetary, it could be anything. That is the have part. It's all about being a successful person and a satisfied person. That is the combination of a true person for whom life was worth living. We spoke about it last time. Dream times goal times learn times plan times action is success. So think about all those big things that you would want. You want to be that altruistic person and leave behind an orphanage or whatever that you have, but that's perfectly fine. But still, those are your haves. Once you have finalized the haves that you want from life, you now need to look at the second component of your LHS and say, these are the do's. Remember the formula? Dreams and goals are your haves. Learn, plan, and action are your do's. What do I need to learn to be able to fulfill my dream? I want to become a great photographer. That is my dream, but I know nothing about photography. Then I need to learn. Now that learning has to have a planning in place because you're already doing probably something else. And then you will have to act, go into the wild and start shooting. So your do part is all about the learning, the planning, and the action. Learn. We need to become a better individual. We need to learn. Now, what makes all this a success and allows us to have the do's and the haves is the most simplest part of the formula. And the most simplest part of the formula is the BE, the B, the I, the person you are. If you want to achieve anything different from what you're achieving today, you have to become a very different person. It is said that becoming successful is not critical. Becoming the person who is a successful person is the most critical element. Who are you as an individual? This body, this soul, this mind is unique. There could be people who are much more smarter than me. There could be people who have a much better body than me. The people who are much more taller than me, the people who are much more fairer than me. But the one that I have is a unique combination, which nobody else in this world has. So how am I building this self? I need to constantly work on myself and see how can I become a better professional and an individual. We all speak about the SWOT. The SWOT, the strength, weakness, opportunity, threat. Great to do when you're doing a business, but when you're doing your SWOT for yourself, forget SWOT, SWOT, replace the W by A. The strengths, the areas of improvement, the opportunities, and the threats. Now let me take a very simple example. I was with a prospect last week in Calcutta, and this prospect told me that he's not generating enough sales and wanted me to take on the sales activities. Now, while as an organization, I have a team who are driving the sales aspect of organizations or training salespeople. And this is typically that I would not be averse to taking on. But this is not part of my coaching activity. There's a part of my other vertical which speaks about the sales. How do you drive more sales? How do you monitor more salespeople? What are the number of calls that you make? What are your lead generation strategies? That's the sales part. So hence I refrained from taking it on myself. But this is what I told my prospect. I do not know whether he'll sign up with me. It's important for my prospect to become good in sales. And if it's important for him to become good in sales, he's a significant amount of business. He's not a 5-10 crore business. He's in the 200 crores. But if he wants to double it in the next 5-7 years, what he needs to do is drive more sales, which means he needs to learn how to sell. He needs to have his belief systems right. He needs to think right. And he needs to understand the various processes and of sales. His dream is a 500 crore business, which is fantastic. But what he needs to do is change himself so that his planning, learning, and actions can be all synchronized together. If he has the dream and a goal of a 500 crore business, but if he's not willing to invest in the learn, plan, and act, then this success story is never going to happen. Once he learns how to sell, he himself will become a more efficient salesperson. He will have a better team under him whom he'll be able to monitor, and he will get a very different set of results. His do's will reduce significantly, and his haves will increase significantly. If you put it in the formula, it is all about B times do. If my have is constant, if my B goes up, my do's certainly come down. If the do's don't come down, if the D's remain where it is, and my B is increasing, the haves increase significantly, because it's all a part of multiplication. Which leads me to the second part of this B, which is all about the proactivity and the reactivity. who do I want to become is a very, very proactive thought process. I've seen in my last 3 years of business coaching, I've seen business owners having great business plans. But when I was asked about a life plan, about who do you want to become a successful business owner, he doesn't have a life plan, because very few people are weak in proactivity. Most people are reactive. They become what circumstances have made them. Like I take this common example that in the year 1985, when I was in my 11th grade, I was told by my late father, that I have to focus on physics, chemistry, biology, because he wanted me to become a doctor. Now, I didn't become the doctor because obviously there's a gap in my upper compartment, and he was very upset, and he forced me to become a microbiologist. And post the graduation of microbiologist, I did biochemistry. Now, question is, was that ever part of my proactivity? No, I was being very reactive to what people were telling me, and and for the first few years of my life, I was a slave to what was told to me and what circumstances made to me. And I give myself credit that in the late 2000, in 2009, 2010, I decided this is not the life that I want to live. I would want to become something else. And 2016, we had our Beyond Red Ocean Consulting as my dream come true. But I had to invest 5 years into learning, into planning, into acting, into saving. Just think about a marathoner. He gets up in the morning and he decides to run. No, sir. He needs to become a different person. He needs to become a better trained person to be able to complete that marathon. Watch my video on YouTube. Are you a treadmill business owner or are you a marathoner business owner? And it will give you a lot of difference. Same with business. How many times do we really are looking at our business from a distance and say, how can I make this business different from what it was last year? Ladies and gentlemen, I read a definition of life. Life is to become the best version of myself. Organizations are making better and more innovative products every year. Today, I am challenging you to think of yourself as a product. How can I become a better and a more innovative product the next year? Who is that best you? If organizations and technology are driving products and making them more effective, how can you become a more effective business owner? We should all be aiming to become the best version of myself. In order for life to change, we need to change. The world is changing very rapidly. Lots of organizations didn't change. They had to shut shop, but when they came back, they were never the old version of themselves. Kodak died, BlackBerry struggling, Nokia struggling. Over time, your best version will keep on changing. So this is not a one-time process. This is a continuous process, and hence being reactive is not going to help us. It's going to be proactive. So there was this gentleman who got the Nobel Prize for a word called as perturbation. What is perturbation? It's a fantastic word. Perturbation means when pressure is applied, what happens? Human beings grow only when there is pressure. That is a fact of life. Whether it's a sportsman or a student or a business owner, they all perform better when they're under the hammer. Look at salesperson around you. Every month and last week, they are performing. Every year, last quarter, they are performing because they are under the hammer. They are being pushed. We perform best when we are under perturbation. Coal becomes diamond under pressure. Water boils when you apply heat. Teams perform better when they are under pressure. It has been scientifically proven that the growth cycle of human beings is much better under pressure than for somebody who is under no pressure to perform. But obviously, there's a question of the positive pressure and the negative pressure. You put too much negative pressure on people, people will falter. But are you, as a business owner, are you as an individual putting positive pressure on you? If you don't have bigger goals than what you have today, then you are under no pressure to perform, and that leads to mediocrity. We need to put that pressure on us so that we can grow into someone else. Like, you can get outside pressures as well. You can get a business coach to push you. You can get a performance coach to push you. You can get a health coach to push you. But that pressure should be built. If it's not internal, if you're not self-driven, if you have the challenge of execution and accountability, get external pressure. Now, when you put external pressure, there are two things that can happen. Let's take the example of water. There's a fire and there's a bowl of water. The water is getting heated, slowly heated, and it's coming to simmering. Now, when it's coming to simmering, there are two things that can happen. One, you may decide to take that bowl off and keep it aside out of the fire, and the water cools off. Nothing changes in life. But if you allow that water to boil, there is that moment between the simmering and the boiling. It's just a fraction of a second. The water is simmering, and in a fraction of a second, it starts boiling. This is what we call the breakthrough moment. Individuals, nahi hoga, not possible, can't do it, not possible. But one single event, boom, it happens. You're able to do it. And that is the breakthrough moment. But the breakthrough moment can happen only when you've transcended that pressure. People who don't transcend that pressure live a mediocre life because I am scared of pressure. I am willing to let go. But you will become a diamond, ladies and gentlemen, only when you've transcended that pressure. So let the pressure build on you. Let the positive pressure build on you. Take it, because you will not break. I can assure you, you will not break. You can either fall flat and say, I don't want to take the pressure. But if anybody puts pressure or you put pressure, there's no way you can break. There's no way, ladies and gentlemen. We're much more tougher than that. And you have to get your breakthrough moment. The breakthrough moment will come if you're under pressure. And the moment that breakthrough moment comes, you are a different individual. Nobody can now stop your success. You've transcended everything. And you are becoming the true BE who will be a successful individual. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish you a very fantastic month end. Let the pressure keep coming and work on the B, because there's nothing that should stop any one of us from not living a life of mediocrity. Take care. God bless. See you next Monday, same time, same place, with our third episode of Life and Business Transformation, episode 3. Goodbye and take care.